Buckle up, boys and girls, because class is starting and it's going to kick your ass. This is the Prepared Mind.
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she is required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
Wow. There it is, folks. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Now, before we get into what the hell is happening, and some big stuff is happening, folks, there's an incredible amount of fear, paranoia, concern, and people saying that they're feeling something and it's just not quite right. So we always go over, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. I want to talk a little bit about planning. And part of planning is also training and skill, folks. This is important. Jolene, I have asked to make this information available. There's going to be a link that's going to be provided at some point here. And also talk about skills. Start developing your skills. So you've got all these items, but you need to have your plan, right? Let me start with this. I would like you to write this down and go to this website and just start looking at it. This is the channel for the urban Aboriginal. And what he does is a lot of primitive skills stuff. Primitive skills, primitive techniques, primitive thoughts. Not in a Neanderthal type way, but primitive meaning making do with what you have. Now, just the other day, we were talking about how, well, people don't have a plan, or their plan has holes in it. Or they're wondering what to do in a situation that they should be planned for. They should have resources for. So part of primitive skills and primitive techniques is understanding how to find what resources are going to help you. Anyways, I strongly recommend you go to the urban Aboriginal. That's Rudy's channel. And it gets you in the mindset of, what do I have in my area? What will be useful? What will I need if we have a shutdown of electricity or water? What if we have a shutdown in social, shall we say, courtesy, and people are being a-holes? You may not want, thank you very much, you man, the Urban Aboriginal on YouTube. Rudy's a great guy. Support his channel, support him, and others like him. Sensible Prepper has also been doing some good stuff. But Urban Aboriginal, Rudy there, I really think it's good to get yourself kind of in that mindset. Now, once again, you may not have to go full primitive, but what if you've forgotten something? What if you need something else? For example, rope. Do you know how to make your own rope? Do you know how to take broken pieces of rope and make them into new rope? What is rope good for, apart from tying up the bad guys, right? Holding stuff together. It's good. Rope is used in a lot of ways for security. So I would recommend that. Now, both rural and urban folks would need skills. He calls himself the Urban Aboriginal, Rudy, but his skills are useful both rural and urban, and they become very necessary. Now, for example, Lahaina, Hawaii, that is basically urban. It's very, very modern. Water, electricity, everything a modern city has is very small. Now they don't have it. Fort Myers, a large city, metropolitan resort megaplex, destroyed. The people there would have benefited from having primitive skills. So once again, urban goes to the Urban Aboriginal. I've got a speech impediment and a half. Anyways, check out Rudy's site, support Rudy. And then I've got this, folks, right? You may need to survive just a couple of days. You may need some of these primitive skills for a week, maybe a month. We don't know. If you don't have them or know how to get them, they're of no value to you. If you do have them, if you do train and plan and understand that you can be taken to there, at least for a very short time, it'll give you a lot of confidence in understanding who you are, what you're capable of, and looking at the world in a different way. Not, I need something new, I'm going to the store to get it, but I need something and I can't go to the store. What can I use in its place? Now, also we've got this for Prepared Mind subscribers. Whether you're on YouTube or the club or Subscribestar or Facebook, it doesn't matter, right? I recommend a free book. It's a free book that will help you get prepared. I want to thank Mr. Skylight for passing this on. All the author wants for this book is for you to get it and leave a review. Get the information, get the book for free, leave a review, and I say get prepared for a primitive survival situation. And once again, when I go camping, I'm prepared for primitive. Now, if there's water available, oh, you bet, that's great. Some campsites have electricity, something we never had when I was a kid. Showers, some places they got like a little shower thing set up. It's like, wow, you get to take a shower. How unprimitive is that? But in a lot of cases, you find primitive living. And so understanding the resources around you and how to use them is critical. So again, we got this book as well that I want you to take a look at, and Jolene will put it up there. The book is written by Kay Rubacek, right? And it is Nowhere Left to Run. That's the title of the book. Nowhere Left to Run. 10 Steps to Survive Tyranny Today. So it's not just about an asteroid hitting or the dinosaurs coming back or an alien invasion. It's 50 pages of worksheets for you, a family, your group, doesn't matter. And it gets the right conversations and thoughts happening. People say, how do I get my family to listen? How do I start a group? How do I find people? This book will help. There's nowhere left to run, folks. Tyranny is around us, all around the planet today. 10 Steps to Survive Tyranny Today. I really recommend downloading the book. We can provide a link, give it some stars on Amazon. That's it. Free book. And again, right, it's written by Kay Rubacek, Kayrubacek. You can go to kayrubacek.com, kayrubacek.com. Help protect yourself, right? If you don't save yourself, who the heck is going to save you? Right? You need your plan. You need your skills. You need to look at the world in a different way. It doesn't mean you have to go out and live off the grid and be crazy, go live in a jungle at the RMZ, none of that stuff. I'll tell you what, I did a lot of thinking before I went to the jungle and thought, okay, I'm now trapped here, actually under government lockdown on top of everything else for weeks. I was told, not only are you here to survive, but you ain't leaving the property or you'll be arrested. That sort of thing. So yeah, go see the Urban Aboriginal Rudy on YouTube. Check out that book. You can go to kayrubacek.com and you can get your link there and get the book for free and help you and others talk about what's happening and plan how to have a plan. Now there is my PSA for the day. Don't look at the world like it's a Lowe's. Look at the world like it's a jungle. And you need to find your way through it. Anyways, I know that people going to Urban Aboriginal and go and see Rudy, that'll make him happy knowing he's helping people. And you can help him as well, support him, support everybody. Another guy who's been putting out some good videos lately, as I said, is Sensible Prepper on YouTube. Great material there, talking about finding resources around yourself and using them. Now, let's get back into other stuff around the world. Take a wild guess at this. There's a pilot out there. Cardiac arrest while training at Fort Novosel. A student pilot, folks, not an old pilot, not a crusty old fart with heart disease. Another young person, cardiac arrest during a flight. Is that what you want? I'm telling you, I mean, you just don't know. Good thing they put 2 pilots in commercial aircraft so that if one keels over, at least you have another pilot there. You don't end up at the situation like the movie Airplane where you got Leslie Nielsen and some guy with a drinking problem. Anyways, It is getting nastier out there, folks. We've talked about food stores being shut down, other chains shutting down and abandoning areas. Now, in Los Angeles, Southern California area, there are mobs of thieves, folks. And they're going after not just convenience stores, they're going after upscale stores, all stores. And they're flash mob ransacking them. And guess what the police say? Hey, we've been told not to go after people and arrest them for low-level offenses. In other words, petty thievery. But when 50 or 100 people ransack a store, it causes more than just a petty loss. I'll tell you what, if someone takes $100 from me, I'm going to be pissed. $200, I'm going to want to take some action, right? If someone stole $1,000 from me, like if I had just $1,000 laying around, I'd be outraged. And imagine when 50 or 100 or 200 people come into your store and just ransack it, loot it. These stores are going to shut, folks. They're not going to reopen. They're going to leave these big cities, and guess what happens? The big cities, I guess, are going to be owned by the homeless. Oh, I'm not going to pay taxes for these people to live off of me. That's for sure. That's for sure. But the government is allowing. This is government policy, folks. I'm talking about learning and understanding primitive ways, learning and understanding the tyranny around us. Did you know that Elon Musk's space company called SpaceX, they're now being sued by the Department of Justice? Are they being sued for shaking down Russian and Chinese businesses like Hunter Biden? Nope. No, not at all. No. They're not going after Elon Musk and SpaceX because they've shaken down people. They're not going after Elon Musk because he smokes crack and has drug parties with hookers and is accused of child or adult sex trafficking. They're not going after Elon for any of that stuff. You know what they're going after him for? The Department of Justice of the United States government has filed a lawsuit against SpaceX because he is not hiring refugees. Tyranny. Okay, Rubicek, you bet. Tyranny. Everyone knows, folks, that refugees that come here to America illegally, they're completely competent and they're completely qualified for work in the space technology industry. Don't we all know that? Hell, actually, I don't. I didn't know that. I didn't know refugees are qualified and competent for space technology work. But the Department of Justice thinks so. And so they're going to start suing people to put them out of business. Folks, this is the direction we're heading in. This is the direction the country is being taken by Democrats. It is unbelievable. But believe it because it's real. Now, let's talk about communications and information. I ask you guys, I say, please support the Prepared Mind channel. And you have. Even though this country, folks, is going to hell in a handbasket, we're hoping it can be straightened out. We're hoping to do that by communicating information and letting people know what is going on. Well, oops, the government is trying to stop our communication once again. A letter has been leaked to the public, and the Maui, Hawaii county officials were told to enforce a media blackout. That's right, folks. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, told people, Hawaiians, to stop posting wildfire images and videos. So the federal government and the state government in Hawaii have decided they're going to start telling people what to do. Once again, folks, government censorship. Why was it needed? It was a wildfire. Why not post images and videos of what was going on? What are they hiding? Once again, folks, just general incompetence and stupidity on the part of the government. Their arrogance, their hubris, their lack of empathy, their lack of sympathy, that's already on display. So what else is there to hide? mean, it took Joe Biden had to finish 2 vacations and be prompted and then begged to go to Hawaii before he showed up, and all he did was insult people. But when it comes to this, why are they hiding things? No wonder people come up with conspiracy theories. When there's a lack of information, this is how the human mind works. When there's a lack of information, you can't get information on this or that. The government's being silent. The media is silent. People have to fill in the blanks for themselves. Fill in the blanks for themselves. And so they take information from their history, information that is not reliable, information they heard from a witness. And you have to start putting your own answers together. People want answers. What the hell happened? Well, the government told people to stop it. They shut them down. They censored them. Once again, why? If they don't want our wild conspiracy theories and us getting mad at them, then they should be honest and decent and open. But here's the rub. By being honest and decent and open and transparent as government should be and accountable to us, when we learn how incompetent and stupid they are, we want them to be punished. We want them arrested because people died. Property was destroyed. Unbelievable. Do you know how much money is spent or was spent in Lahaina, Hawaii? Between the hotels, the restaurants, the shops. It's as if COVID, cerveza bug madness, didn't do enough damage to the islands of Hawaii. And then there's the idiots there who want to kick everyone out. We don't want no more of them tourist people coming here. Bunch of dumbasses. I'm telling you, folks, tyranny, government, tyranny, government. This story came out, and it had an odd flavor, and then it came out. Well, there's this biker bar in Orange County, California, right? This place called Cook's Corner. 4 people are dead, shot. Well, it turns out that the gunman, who is now dead also, is a retired police officer. So, well, now, isn't that special? Isn't that just special? Once again, folks, the other day, I reported that a judge was what happened to that judge? Did that judge murder his wife? I think that was it. Judges, lawyers, cops, elected politicians, bureaucrats, they're showing themselves to be every bit as evil as anyone else on this planet could be, if not more, because they have power and authority, and they're using it and abusing it. Are you ready? Are you prepared? Well, you should be. You better had be. And speaking of damage to economies, folks, New York City has lost $1 trillion, folks, not a million, not 1,000 millions known as a billion, but a million millions. That's what $1 trillion is, folks. Let's look at this again. Let's think about the numbers. A million millions is $1 trillion. Well, Wall Street businesses, folks, Wall Street corporations, Wall Street bankers, investors have fled, abandoned, cut their losses, and left Wall Street and New York City and the Empire State behind. And New York City has lost $1 trillion. That is the price of socialism, folks. And that doesn't even count all the dead bodies that are going to be following soon. Because where socialism is, there is mass murder from governments. Understand it. Do your history. Look it up. See if I'm lying. See if I'm making a joke. Because, you know, this channel is all satire all the time. Yeah. Well, speaking of that, all satire all the time, New York Magazine, speaking of New York and satire, they released a list of just some of the people, folks, who are professional, social, and other sorts and consorts. And they consorted with Jeffrey Epstein. That's right, folks. We have a partial list from the infamous Little Black Book. Little Black Book. So these people, folks, rich, powerful associates of Jeffrey Epstein, and they would have you believe that they're sorry, that they wished it had never happened, that they aren't involved, that it's not a big deal. Let me give you some names. Leon Black. Never heard of him? Well, he's he's the co-founder of Apollo Global Management. How about Leon Botstein? He is the president of Bard College. How about Sergey Brin? Well, you don't know who Sergey Brin is? He's just the co-founder of Google. Yeah, folks, let's continue. William Burns. Who the hell is William Burns? Oh, he's the CIA director. You've probably heard of Professor Noam Chomsky. He claims that one of his meetings with Epstein included dinner with director and actor Woody Allen and his wife, daughter, Soon Yi Previn. Yeah, that's a good bunch to be around. I think Woody Allen is one of those minor attracted persons. Let us continue. Cecil de Jong. That's a heck of a name right there. Cecil de Jong is the former U.S. Virgin Islands First Lady. Well, what's her connection? Well, she's been also accused of helping Epstein get visas for his alleged victims. In other words, how do you get people there that need to be there? Well, they need travel visas. Well, you may as well go to the First Lady of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Well, that's an accusation, folks, not a fact. It's just an accusation. Now, for years, this following clown has been associated with Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates. You've heard of Microsoft. How about Joshua Cooper Ramo? He's just a board member for this corporation called FedEx. Terje Rode Larson, former diplomat, big shot political person. How about Ariana de Rothschild? Ever heard that name before? Rothschild? Ariana de Rothschild is from the Edmund de Rothschild group, and she's the chairwoman, not just a nobody Rothschild, but the chairwoman of the Edward de Rothschild group. How about General Counsel Catherine Rumler? Catherine Rumler. She's general counsel. That means attorney for Goldman Sachs. Ever hear of that bank? How about Jess Staley? He just happens to be an executive at JP Morgan. How about Lawrence Summers? Ever hear of Lawrence Summers? I bet you've had a piece of paper in your wallet with his name on it because he was a former Treasury Secretary. And then there's Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is the co-founder of, drumroll please, PayPal, the company that takes us and tries telling us who we can and can't do banking with because they don't like our politics. Right? Unbelievable. Also, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. And of course, you also know Prince Andrew, brother of King Charles. How's that for a list of people? Powerful, good buddies. These people, folks, would kill you over $1. They're billionaires and more. But to hide themselves, protect their name, and make themselves feel better, you can bet your ass. You can bet your ass, folks, they'd kill you over $1. Now, this is a big deal here. Oh, you get back here. Don't you dare go away, computer. Folks, you need to understand that peasants need a license. Peasants don't have rights. Peasants have privileges. Peasants need a license. Freemen speak freely. And I say speak now or forever hold your peace. And by peace, I mean speak now or forever hold that peace in your hand. Because they're coming for our free speech and our rights. And guess what? None other than Dr. Jordan Peterson, who's made quite a name for himself over the last 6, 7, 8 years. battling these left-wing ding-dongs and pissing other people off like me besides. But he's done a lot more good than harm, Dr. Peterson. He is being told that if he wants to keep his license, he needs to get re-educated because his social media posts are not acceptable. Now, Jordan Peterson is a relatively smart guy. He's a pretty good speaker. He engages in debate with left-wing lunatics, I think is a very dangerous practice, but he does. But this is what they do to you. They'll take someone like this who actually understands logical fallacy, understands debate, understands philosophy, understands psychology. But he is no longer free. How many people, if Jordan Peterson, who is just a nobody in all truth, if he can be forced to go to re-education in order to make a paycheck, what do you think they're doing to your politicians at the federal level? Hey, even the state level, and that's right down to the local, the county and the municipal districts, people are being re-educated because they don't follow social norms. These social norms are being set by people who would have your children and grandchildren castrated to satisfy their sexual desires, lusts, and perversions. That's right. They want to make all kids little trannies, little androgynous humans. And androgynous means you can't tell if it's a boy or a girl. I've been running into this more and more lately, in all truth. Running into someone, I don't know what their gender is because of the way they dress, because their bodies are completely jacked up from taking drugs. I've actually seen these people now. They are androgynous. You can't tell if they're a boy or a girl. Dr. Peterson, you did it to yourself, pal. Free men speak freely. And if you need to give up your license, whether it's for psychology or some other special license, give it up. It's better to be a free man on your feet than to live on your knees. Live on your knees in front of a bunch of trans and drag queens. You know, if you're on your knees with them, what's going to happen? We need to be able to question, folks, what is going on out there. We need to be able to speak freely. We need to be able to share information. In Norway, folks, a man has been locked in a frickin' psychiatric ward. For what purpose? Because he questioned liars. He questioned people who are lying to us. What he questioned, folks, was the Jim Jones juice. He had questions. This is Norway. He had questions about the Jim Jones juice. He didn't believe what he was being told. So we're being told that you'll get locked in a psychiatric ward, that you're crazy, and you must be institutionalized if you dare to question liars, people like Dr. Fauci. Are we going to see the same here in this country, in Canada? Canada before here, definitely. They got Dr. Jordan Peterson. He's just about 2 steps from the loony bin. But they'll let loonies out on the street. There's your homeless population right there. And they'll cause all manner of havoc and trash. Don't worry, though. The homeless people have phones that you pay for. Thank you, Obama. They have all the health care they need for absolute free. You bet. They clog up social services and hospitals because, well, they have to be treated. They may not get the best medical treatment, but they take up time, energy, resources. They're fine on the street, but don't you dare question authority. That's the message that's being sent by tyrannical governments. Tyrannical governments. That's why I said I really recommend you get to the Urban Aboriginal site and you start watching his videos and start thinking with a primitive mindset, because that's who's going to be out there when shit hits the fan. They're going to be out there with their primitive mindset as well. You need to look at everything, whether you're rural or urban. Check it out. And then also check out the book by Kay Rubicek. And that book, those questions will get you to start thinking. Start thinking. Now, you heard about the supposed shoot down of Prigozhin, the leader of the Russian private military contracting organization called Wagner. Well, the Russians have now destroyed a Ukraine spy boat that was in the Black Sea. Why isn't that story getting a lot of play? Let's see, a spy boat in the Black Sea. The Russians, I really don't think they're responsible for shooting down Prigozhin. In fact, now the threat is that the Wagner group is threatening Russia, threatening Moscow, threatening the Kremlin for killing their leaders. But by the way, did you know that Prigozhin has faked his death in the past? That's what I hear. It's speculated out there that he's done this before. It's just you and I have never heard of it. He's already duped the CIA for, I think, $6 billion. Am I wrong on that? He's already duped them out of money. Why wouldn't he fake his own death, destroy a couple $1 million airplane? I'm sure his military group, private military contractor group, has access to surface-to-air missiles, shoot down one of his planes, his own private planes. He's got $6 billion. What's he give a shit? Man, disappears in a pile of smoke and ashes. Comes out the other side smelling like Russian roses. Oh yeah, it's happening, folks. It's happening. And Ukraine is claiming that it blew up Russia's main missile battery, their base on the Crimean Peninsula. I'm not buying this story, folks. Are you? Do you believe Ukraine was able to target and blow up a missile base? If that was a serious, real missile base the Russians had, they would not allow anyone to get anywhere near it because their missile technology, the S-400 systems, as well as their hypersonic missiles, are the tops. They are superior. I'm sad to say, I'm literally sad to say, they are superior to what America has developed. The Russians have poured their money into these missile systems. They're not going to allow a bunch of Ukrainian nut jobs to blow it up. But we are the subject of propaganda. Once again, we're getting half-truths and we're left to fill in the blanks. This is Thursday, folks. Every day they're showing us exactly how jacked up the world is. I listened to some financial discussion today on a break. And folks, they're still saying the consequences of the cerveza bug lockdown and all of that free money that the government threw around, which I don't remember getting a whole lot of. Some people, I guess, got huge amounts of money, double what they were normally being paid every month for a year. And they didn't have to do anything for it. And they refused to go back to work so they can continue to collect free money. Well, there's nothing free, folks. There's nothing free. There's a price to pay for everything. Wow. Let's go to the inner circle. Let's go to the inner circle. Back. It is now your turn as a member of the Inner Circle Live. I couldn't help it today, folks. I had to do that stupid pill. I had to go live and just do stupid pill. With everything that's going on, I'm like, how can anyone believe any of this crap that's going on? You know, how can we believe any of this shit? It has to be stupid pills. You'd have to take a handful every day. Mikey G asks this: is it true? After their leader was shot down, the Wagner group is trying to defect to Ukraine. I have not heard that one yet, Mikey. Why would they? Why would they? Ukrainians hate Russians. The Ukraine military has been ethnically cleansing, genocide of Russians in eastern Ukraine, formerly eastern Ukraine. Why would a military group like Wagner decide to go to the other side? Could they be defecting and it's actually a ruse, a trick to put their special military troops and organizations in another country to get them moved in, kind of like bringing illegal aliens into this country and allowing in terrorist groups, terror cells, who then reform, regroup, and then attack. That possibility is still out there. It's one that bothers me on a daily basis to think about. But, that's our government. They love to do things. Now, the Wagner Group, folks defecting to Ukraine, they're going to split up. You see, it's also a worldwide organization, folks. They have got a lot of their resources down in Africa. Right? Africa is a huge source, a huge place. It's the biggest continent on the planet. It's huge. And there are natural resources there that still have not been, shall we say, explored, found, discovered. But they are being exploited. They've been exploited by European nations. Now they're being exploited by, China, Russia, as well as the United States. That's what this whole thing is with Niger. Niger means black. Right, all the oil in Niger, the uranium there. Powerful countries are fighting to get a hold of this stuff. So Wagner's down there fighting for Russia. The United States military is in Niger. They've been in there. I just looked into Niger a couple years ago and I thought, wow, that's quite interesting, quite fascinating. Also, it's the largest OPEC oil producing country in the world, Niger. So why would Wagner give that up? Why would they give up what control they have there? Why wouldn't they just become their own private little government? Right? Why would they want to go back to Russia where they're just going to get killed, or go back to Ukraine where they're just going to get killed? And I have a hard time believing anything at this point, Mikey, but also to take a look at what you've written, it is possible. Everything is also possible in crazy times. Crazy times. And that's the world we have, folks. That's the world of SHTF. It just is. All righty. Let's see. It's, 37 minutes after we started. We've got more. Uman says, also lots of rich princes in Niger looking for help getting money out of the country. They need our help. Well, it's princesses. Yeah. A Nigerian princess. I've got $1 million and some big jewels. And these emails used to go around quite a bit. And I need you to send money to get me out. If you send me $500 and help get me smuggled out of the country, then I'll pay you $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million. Those are some old shams and scams, and I bet they're still trying it. It wouldn't surprise me. Kind of like the scam of someone calling an old lady after they find out who her relatives are and pick one of her granddaughters or grandsons and say, hey, they're being held in a Mexican jail. And if you pay bail, then they can come out. But if you don't pay, they're going to be locked away in the Mexican jail system. We only want $5,000 to get them out and get their name cleared and get them back across the border, folks. A lot of very concerned great-grandparents and grandparents have fallen for that. It's funny how criminals at the lowest levels play the same games that criminals at the highest levels play. The only difference is the criminals at the highest levels are doing so from a seat of authority. Like the big guy, he's running a scam too. It's the 10% scam. Any business that he locks down or uses U.S. power, government authority, then he wants 10% of the take. That's the big guy. And of course, Joe Biden's going to say he's not the big guy, even though, everyone knows he's the big guy. Everyone knows it's even on his car. His license plate on his Corvette is big guy. 10%. There you go. All right. Thank you, Mr. Uman. All right. We've got Jane Dixon up next. Okay. I'm now in the correct place here, Uman. Jane Dixon, she says the Democrat National Committee tried to bring out the dancing bear, but he turned Republican, so now they will send out Michael. Who else thinks this is a bad Vavel show? Vaudevillian show? Is that what you meant by a Vavel show? It is just an absolute mess. Thank you, man. Folks, the Republicans tried bringing out their dancing bears. They tried bringing out their politicians. Nobody watched, really. Nobody tuned into Fox. Nobody really gave a shit. I saw lots of news stories about Vivek Ramaswamy and Chris Christie, I guess, was getting booed so much that the debate moderator had to ask the audience to please stop booing. Yeah, I don't even know why the audience showed up to listen to these clowns. The Republican nominee is going to be Trump. That's a John prediction right there. The Trump train, folks, is going to trump all the other candidates. The GOP as an organization, not as a political party that we know it as voters, but the organization behind it, the leadership, if you will, which is being led by Mitt Romney's daughter. That's how slimy this organization is, the GOP. Right? Trump is going to be the thing, unless they can lock him up, folks. Right? It is a bad show. It is a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. In fact, the left is so far radical. They're so woke. Get this. The left is so woke that MSNBC ran a hit piece saying that the word woke is the new N-word. Once again, how can you say N-word without knowing what the N-word really means or is supposed to mean or refer to? As soon as you say N-word, then you're like, ooh, I know what that means. And then you say it in your head. Now you've said it. Holy cow, you said that word? You said the N-word inside your own head? Oh my God. You must be an evil person for thinking the N-word and even saying the N-word. But now the word woke is the new N-word because MSNBC claimed that that's verbiage that has existed in the African-American community, meaning keep your eyes open, be aware of danger and stuff. Folks, they're just trying to silence people by not allowing the word woke because they know it is a pejorative term. It has negative connotations, and it refers largely to Democrats. And pointedly, it points at the sexual deviant, lawless crowd that is running the Democrat Party. There's going to be no debate from the left, folks. Just race baiting, lies, and woke bullshit. I mean, seriously, have any of you, as smart as you are, as well-informed as you are, have any of you heard that the word woke is the new N-word? It's so stupid, it's not even funny. It's so over-the-top comical that it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It really is. It just is. Fani Willis is out there, folks, continuing to lock people up. And there'll be no favoritism, no special treatment for any of the people that Fani Willis is charging with their RICO crimes. That's right, her racketeering crimes, her mafia crimes. She's charging Rudy Giuliani, a federal prosecutor who actually arrested and convicted the actual real mob, the actual real racketeers and organized crime people. But Fani Willis is accusing the Republicans of being organized crime. What you need to do, Fani, is take a trip up north, go to Washington, D.C., take a right on Pennsylvania Avenue and stop at 1600, go knock on the door and ask for some cocaine. Wow. What a world, folks. What a world. And while we're on this subject, one of the people that's been arrested is Harrison Floyd. He's the Trump supporter, folks, who body slammed an FBI agent. That's right, one of the tough guys, One of the tough fruits that Chris Wray sends out to harass people got out of line. Are you going to allow them to arrest you, folks? And by the way, Harrison Floyd was not arrested for body slamming an agent. This agent must have done something wrong. He must have violated the rights and the good senses of Harrison Floyd if he got that kind of a treatment. It's going to get nastier, folks. Lights out? I don't know. Water off? Water compromised? You better have filtration systems. Police down? Police gone bad. Lawlessness or excessive rule of law? Right now we're dealing with excessive rule of law. Remember that? WROL. This was all talked about 10 years ago. These were acronyms from then. WROL, without the rule of law. And then excessive rule of law, EROL. Excessive meaning the government's out arresting people, throwing them in camps, coming after them, just shooting them. We're starting to see the excessive application of law, as in, look at President Trump. Look at any of his associates. They're all being arrested. His supporters being arrested. People being thrown in jail. You think that's excessive? You bet it is. But if things go wonky, sideways, bad, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to be without the rule of law, like we did when we had Antifa and Black Lives Matter running around on the streets, burning businesses, looting them, murdering people, setting fire to police stations, courthouses, harassing people in their private homes. It's unbelievable, folks. That is the Democrat Party. This is America. This is America. You want to see what it's going to look like in another 10 years? Pick a movie. Pick a movie. It's out there. I tell you. All right, Mr. Uman, what else have we got? Who else is out there? Who has something to say? And it's Uman. He's got something to say. He said, also recommend that you get antique tools that don't require gas or electricity. You can often find these things at garage sales, flea markets, etc. Now, in today's modern age, we have electric, battery-powered saws. Go get a hand saw. Get a bow saw. They're at the hardware store. Bow saws are great for cutting limbs, branches, brush. What do you need that stuff for? Making a fire, cooking your dinner, keeping warm, making light. Fire. Look into it. I really recommend you look into it, folks. Antique tools like axes. And you're going to need a lot of shovels to bury the idiots out there. And remember, you have to bury them. You can't just leave them on the ground. They'll start stinking. They will. They'll start stinking. There'll be little disease pits. You got to make sure that you bury those who need to be buried. All right, let us continue, Mr. Uman. We have Charles Gentry. He says, I would like for John to expand upon obey and die from the Zero Dark 30 video today. That's a point that needs covering, in my opinion. Obey and die, truth, truly. I'm glad you enjoyed that discussion, Charles. If you want to hear it, go to this morning's Zero Dark 30. It's right there on the Prepared Mind. The Prepared Mind on YouTube. It's waiting for you. Of course, if you are here on Subscribestar or the preparedmind.club, you also have access to it. What's being discussed is obey and die. The example I had that I used that we can all really wrap our head around is sheep. Sheep are good. Sheep don't destroy property. They don't break fences. They don't jump on your cars like goats. Sheep are very calm, passive. They are not bad. But eventually they're led to slaughter. They obey their whole lives and they still get slaughtered. Learn to disobey. Who else obeyed and died? How about all the Jews who peacefully got on trains in Germany, France, Austria, and basically all over Europe? They were told, you must obey. And they died. When tyranny is out, and we've given lots of examples of tyranny having to do with President Trump, January 6th protesters, people who are in the media that want to speak freely, like Tucker Carlson, they're going to punish you. Now, what have we found? Well, if you talk back, if you speak up, if you refuse to obey their demand that you be silent, right, they'll kill you. Now, if we can't speak, then we're controlled. We're sheep again. So you need to speak up, speak now, speak loud, and refuse to be silent. Disobey this command. This it is totally an evil command that you shut up. Disobey them, folks, because if you do shut up, if you do silence yourself, guess what? You have obeyed and put yourself in a position to be controlled, killed. Now, over in Hawaii, the example I used this morning was signs. A piece of paper with words on it that's tacked to a board, a metal sign next to a road or on a pylon or a barricade, a piece of metal someone has on their chest where it has a couple of numbers and it has some fancy words like police or sheriff. If you obey them, what happens? The police in Washington, D.C. said, come on in to the U.S. Capitol, public property, follow the path, the little carpeted path. Enjoy yourselves. And they come out the other side and they're arrested, thrown in jail for years and years. Right? They're getting anywhere from 1 year to 20 years in jail, prison, for doing what the man with a badge said. They obeyed that command ridiculously. In Hawaii, folks, there were barricades on the roads. And those people who disobeyed those signs, they survived because they took care of themselves. Those who didn't disobey, they went back in their homes, shelter in place, and they died. They died because they did not listen to their own mind. They didn't do as they should. They obeyed government. Obey and die. That's what kind of world we're in. When the government is telling you everything the opposite it should be, obedience to that government is death. That's where we're heading. This is where we're heading. I just gave several examples of obedience equals death. Sheep, Jews, Hawaiians, all throughout history. We're from the government and we're here to help you. Wow. Unbelievable. Charles Gentry says, I would like to thank, oh, no, that's the same one. All right, thanks, Charles. Ooh, man, he says, oh, here we go. Charles says, my problem is that I have the skills, just not the ability to do it all by myself. I can teach someone, but I'm an asshole. Nature is. Why should I be any different? See my problem? Oh, you got a problem. So it sounds like the skill you need to work on is turning down your asshole level. And I've got the same problem, man. I do. But that skill, or shall we say, natural tendency to be an abrasive prick, actually works here on YouTube, because I'm not afraid to say what needs to be said here. And I say all that I can, just short of being kicked off like a football at the beginning of a game, right? I don't need to be kicked off the internet and YouTube. So I say everything I can. And I tell you guys all that I can get away with. And I tell you, primitive times are coming, folks, for some people here and there around the world. America is going to be different than other countries, but we could be stuck in primitive situations nonetheless. Nevertheless. Charles, for people like you and me, we need to learn to be less abrasive in personal, shall we say, communications and confrontations, so that we don't scare people away with our abrasiveness, but rather attract them to us, because we do have things to teach. If you have lots of skills and you can teach it, then the skill you need to acquire is diplomacy, and to contain your assholery. And something that I have a hard time doing myself, right, in person. Right? You just have to pull back on your character. You have to pull back and make sure that you can get your diplomatic point across rather than drive people away with your abrasiveness. It's tricky. It's something we all have to do to a certain degree. For others, it's easy. For you, me, it's difficult. So that's something I work on, is my attitude, my patience level. Right? But here on the Prepared Mind channel, I try and get it out there full force so that we learn. You better not disobey. That's what the government says, right? And they just say, go ahead and step into that room over there. Don't mind all the dead bodies piling up against the wall. Be sure to get your Jim Jones juice. We'll take good care of you. We're from the government. We're here to help. You should be disobeying that. Everyone on the planet should be disobeying that. And once again, the government, its officials, retired, active, big, small, short, tall, old, young, they're all showing us that they are just corrupt, out of their mind assholes, drunk on power, drunk on the power that has been invested with government, that was provided by patriots and Americans who love this country, who fought to win it in the revolution, who have fought ever since to defeat evil around the world, just so these fucking pricks can steal it all from us anyway. That's what we've got. That's where we're at. I tell you. Thank you, Mr. Uman. I see your problem. You'll be okay, Charles. Okay, there's a couple of other things I want to talk to you about. I know I've got just a few minutes here. Just a few minutes. Fannie Willis, by the way, the district attorney in the chicken shit state of Georgia. Talk about drunk on power and authority. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This woman thinks that she can arrest the president of the United States, that she can arrest all of his cabinet members, his aides, his attorneys. I want you to remember this time, folks. There's going to come a time when we, you and I, the people, look around and go, okay, if this is the political spectrum from the top of the screen to the bottom, right? The no power, big power. In the world of prosecution, Fannie Willis is at the bottom of that power. Trump is near the top. And so little Fannie Willis is able to arrest Trump and bring him down. If that's the case, you and I, who are just regular citizens, we're down here at the bottom level. And people like Fannie Willis are at the top of what we can normally deal with, right? The local district attorney, the county district attorney, the state attorneys. They're within our reach and our sight. If she can reach up and grab Trump, then you and I, from this level, can reach up and grab people like them and hold them accountable. Am I telling you to do anything harmful or dangerous? No. Am I telling you to break the law? No. Am I telling you to act violently? Am I encouraging violence and lawlessness? No, not at all. What I'm telling you is that you and I are every bit as authorized by the law to take care of people like Fannie Willis, as Fannie Willis is able to hold President Trump accountable. So your local judges, your local councilmen, your local county commissioners or supervisors, your district attorneys, your chief of police, you can hold them accountable. If Fannie Willis can hold Trump, Giuliani, and Sidney Powell accountable, then we can hold them accountable. Now, apparently at this time, she can reach very far from Georgia down over there to Mar-a-Lago, Florida, and make President Trump appear. You may not be able to make someone like Fannie Willis appear at your front door to be held accountable. But I'm sure that you can use your AT&T and reach out and touch someone. Give them a call. You can call on them at some point, folks. Remember that and understand that. These are very evil people, and they'll use anyone and any technique to get over on us and destroy everything they can get their hands on. That's the kind of world. The partisan conflict is what I've been calling it for years. Could it be? Might it be civil war? Well, it's possible. I think odds are it's going to have more of a flavor, a local flavor of partisan conflict, partisan resolution, partisan justice, partisan accountability. And it will go both ways. But think about who has the most training. Is it you? Is it them? Who knows more? If you're well prepared and you have good health, good nutrition and energy, the medication you need, and you're getting good sleep, and you have adequate self-defense, you're going to be in a much better position to protect yourself and your group. If you have books like the one I talked about, it's going to be put up. I'll have Jolene put it up. If you have those books, and thank you again, Mr. Skylight. If you have those books on how to put a group together, things to talk about, if you watch The Urban Aboriginal, if you watch Sensible Prepper, you'll learn what you need to know so you can be prepared to deal with the consequences of what these idiots out there are doing to us. Chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper? Semper Fi, everyone. God bless America. Get ready.